Welcome back, everyone. In a recent YouTube poll, you guys chose Amy Rose exponentially more than anyone else, so in today's video, we draw her in 4 different styles. Today we're starting off with realism, and unlike a lot of my other videos, I'm just going to give you a really good, simple tutorial for how I complete my realistic style. And that is, first off, we're going to start off with a base layer, and what I mean by that is, it's going to be a mid-tone of whatever color is in the background. So pink for the hair, red for the dress, etc. From there, we're going to slowly add a whole bunch of color pencils of different values, but also of different colors. We're not just going to focus on black and white. So for the red, I'll add some purples and a touch of blue, but a dark, rich purple will work just as perfectly as any black you'll ever use. Now, I do use white here, but that's because there is a ton of white in her hair. So I want to start off with a nice strong layer of white and then work in the highlights and the shadows of the hair. Now this might seem like I'm just doing things so off the cuff really quick, but I really want you to understand that this little section took me roughly 4 hours to complete. And I'm not really a proponent of realism. It is a mental drain on me. I try not to do it as much, but I know that everyone really likes the way I do my realism and my horror. I'd rather spend 5 hours on a horror just because it's a lot of creativity and a lot of fun, a lot of expression to kind of choose, and you'll love when you see the horror, trust me, so do stay tuned for it. But this is a lot of just carbon copying of what I see and adding very little details. To achieve a lot of the little hairs that you're seeing, I use a paint pen, and I will gently flick in the little subtle hairs in layers, lights and then darks, and lights and darks, because when we look at hair, we see lots of waves of lights and shadows, an interplay of the lights and the shadows. For the shapes of the eyes, I really want to make it seem like the eye is not white. It is actually a very subtle shade of gray, so do consider that in the future. Next up is the cracked effect. And for this, I really wanted to showcase a highlighted blend that I don't normally add in a lot of my videos, so I added a lot more blending than I normally do, and that's because I really wanted the whole piece to have a three-dimensional look to it. I didn't want it to look like a very flat graphical side and then a highly rendered realistic side. I thought it would look weird, so even though there are these varying effects, I really wanted to take the time to give it that little extra three-dimensional kick to it. If you're looking to try this effect out for yourself, one thing that I would recommend is when you get to the little crack effect of the lines, is to take your time, make sure you get the squiggles just right. Don't just flick random little lines in there for the cracks. Take your time and allow all the little lines and all the little jagged edges to come out just right the way you think it should be. I would also study some broken rocks, etc. to see how it would look. Next up is the torn effect, and what I really love is that when it's done effectively, it looks like you've just scratched and tore pieces of the paper right out. And if you look, it comes out just so nice. One thing I will recommend is actually maybe take a simple piece of loose leaf paper and tear it. So when we add these lines, they are jagged. They're not clean and they're not straight. They're not squiggly like little waves. They're more like jagged swirls that are put across the paper, because you want it to make it look like as if it's being, well, quite literally torn. So this is all about studying, and sometimes it might seem like a bother, but if you really want to get better at whatever art you do, there is an element of study that you need to do. Next up is what I think you guys will absolutely love, and that is horror. This sketch, I absolutely love it. I had no problem just getting right into the heart of the sketch. Sometimes it seemed like a little bit of a work, but with this, it just came so naturally. I just pumped it out and it was just chef's kiss. I knew I wanted these claws. I changed them slightly into these jagged, gnarled nails, and then I made the little scraggly hairs. I wanted the really grotesque teeth because I was really thinking of Sonic Exe, but from the images, so I went with it, and I'm just so glad that I did, because I think that this came out great. Now, when I create a demon or a zombie character, or an undead kind of character, something that I like to do is after I've inked, I like to add and layer of ink as a baseline shadow to work everything off of. It gives a really haunting effect. It's similar to what I do with like the quote-unquote my style, but I really love the layered effect that it gives. It gives a eerie presence to it. It really makes the richness of the colors pop off the page. And for this particular design, I really wanted to keep the similar elements, the gold bangle and the hair somewhat similar so it feels reminiscent of the character, but I don't think that this is one that Sonic would fall in love with. Again, for the eye, I wanted to do something that was reminiscent of Sonic Exe, but in my own way. Let me know what you guys think. What section was your favorite? Let me know in the comments, and as always, I appreciate you all for stopping by, and I'll see you all in the next video.